bit of me. I'm not what I will, but what I am because you help me to understand there's nothing in love.
We'll go straight to where we left off. I know last week most of you have a lot of questions, but I have to cut it short. Amen. Because of the time. And I think I'll be sticking strictly to time also tonight because you made it late. Amen. We are dealing with how to handle, confrontation in relationships. Amen. And like I said, it is something that is a must happen because of so many reasons. So many reasons. It can come from, number one, both of you have different worldviews. The man has a different worldview, the woman has a different worldview. Why? Because you were not born in the same house. Besides that, you are two different personalities. Are you understanding me? You can even marry her, your personality type. Introvert, extrovert. Amen? You still have different perspectives. And why are this? Because frictions that cause all these things are needed. Because if you don't know how to handle and deal with frictions, you will never mature. You will never mature. And then your relationship, whatever may you plan it, as for me, I want my marriage to be better than my parents, it's not going to work. Because it takes sacrifice and patience to get into where you are supposed to get. It is not what you say or what you want. Like the old adage goes, if wishes were horses, who can conclude it? If wishes were horses, beggars will ride. Right? So it is like, hey, I wish I have this. And then you are, in a space also. No. You see, so it is something that you need to work at. But the fundamental truth is this: to want a change, you have to be what? The change. Amen. If you hope for a change in your relationship, the change starts with you. You become the prime example of the kind of change you want. If you want patience, then be an example of patience. If you want understanding, be an example of it. If you are sick and tired of arguments, then be an example of it. No more argument. Are you understanding me? So this is how the whole thing starts with. It is not just you talk it and it is there. No. You have to live it. And the problem with most people in the church is that we talk church too much, but it is church that people hear. But people don't see the theology in the church. So you have to live your theology. Become the example of it. So we talked about some things here. We started by saying how to handle confrontations, and I'm just going through so that we don't, never use the silent treatment. Sometimes when people are doing the other one, I'm not talking to you, sometimes it can be manipulative. You can be emotionally or psychologically manipulating the other one. Either the guy or the woman, right? You can have your way to a point. But relationship, you are not supposed to have your way. It is our way, not my way or her way. Are you understanding me? Our way. Everything is what? Mutual. What did I say?
Mutual.
Mutual. Amen. Never use lies to cover up shortcomings. I dealt at length about lying. Never call blue black or black yellow. Amen. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Are you with me?
Yes.
Let your yes be yes and your
no be no.
No be no. Period. At least be known for it. Be honest to a fault. Transparently honest. And the woman will love you for that, and the man will love you for that. Never lie. Because then every day you will have to what? Lie. To keep and to support your original lie, which you don't need. Don't get in-laws or friends involved right away. You have a little bumper here, then you call, hey girl, you say, you hear what he's doing now? And then other, hey, he said, dump him. Well, you dump him and you go and find out. Because listen, a relationship, if it is not, number one, listen to me as a pastor, if it is not what? Physical abuse, it is not constant cheating. You see? Constant cheating and constant manipulation and physical abuse and things like that. But it's just disagreements here and there. I'll tell you to hang in there. Because why? You have invested so many. You have invested in each other. You have been together maybe a year or 2 or 6 months. That is a whole lot of investment. You say you're going to start afresh. I don't know who you're going to start afresh with. George Clooney? So you hang in there, and then both of you what? If there's anything that you seem not to be making any headway, come for counseling and get those things what? Straightened up, and then move on with your beautiful life. Are you getting me? And never, ever, ever, ever think somebody is always better than what you are. No. Treasure and cherish what God has given to you. Leave my chairs alone, right? Don't put any strain on my chairs.
Pastor, don't focus on my feet.
So listen, cherish what God has given to you. The problem that most guys have is this. You can be so, guys can be very, very rigid. Rigid. Painfully rigid. Like a steel rod. You don't compliment. You don't. And sometimes when you compliment because you want something. Learn to compliment. Are you understanding me? Well, I like the hair. I like the eyelashes. What do you call it? Yeah. Compliment. Do you hear me? Learn to compliment. Because you know, I've told you, women respond more to what? 2 things. What are they? Sound and touch. Right? Sound. Every woman will want to hear you say something nice about her. Don't just start fighting, throwing punches from 10 miles away. Yelling and arguing and angry and things like that. Every woman responds to sound and touch. In the Garden of Eden, that's all that Adam did. God did the hardest work for him. All Adam has to do is say something nice. So that is the Adam strategy. Be nice and say something nice to the lady. Are you in agreement with me?
Yes.
Otherwise, I have to send you back to the Garden of Eden to learn from Adam. So learn to compliment. Sometimes you are too quick to criticize and to condemn. You will have this criticism has 2 ways. The other day I talked to you about it. It's either constructive, so you choose your words carefully, because you are building together. Both of you are mirrors to each other. Are you understanding me? The men, that's your problem. Compliment. Women, show appreciation. It is so distasteful and so abhorrent. Most men, they are complacent. I do so much, she doesn't even say thank you. And she keeps demanding. You see? Appreciation. Eka?
I hear you.
I'll be hiding behind your window. Someday finding out whether you are appreciating or what. Show appreciation. You see, it is just the little things like this that makes a beautiful home. That makes a beautiful home. You don't need St. Michael to come and sit down there and say, no. Money will buy you a house. Love will make it what? A home. If these things are there, I tell you, as soon as your man close from work, he's rushing, coming home. There's joy, there's happiness, there's peace. And most of all, you are there. You wouldn't have problems that, oh, I'm hanging out with my boys and things. Are you getting this? Let us go to where we left off the other last week. We left off at what? Don't be subjective in making any conclusions. That's where we left off, right?
Yeah.
We're taking number 5. Never jump into conclusions. Communicate and talk it over. Never jump to conclusions. Communicate and talk it over. Communication is not argument. In argument, what do? You talk about and you talk at each other. You are making a lot of noise, but no meaning. James Brown sang the song. Some of you don't know who James Brown is, but you just listen to him. He says, saying, talking too much and saying nothing. That is what argument is. You're talking, your mouth is going a million words in a second, but you are still saying nothing. Because your audience or your targeted audience is not hearing nothing. But you pace yourself. And then communication is an interchange, a civil interchange of viewpoints. And usually, they are inherently edifying. A civil interchange of viewpoints that are inherently within those words, it edifies, it inspires. You speak, and usually this is where most men, if you're a lady and maybe you think, well, he doesn't talk to me. It is all because men love to be intellectually stimulated. If all the time the talk is about, they're having a sale at Northsboro. They're having a...
No, it's not.
If you're even married to Warren Buffett, you'll get tired of you and you'll say, hallelujah. I know Jay wouldn't want to hear that. So, if you're going to be Mrs. J, don't go to him about shopping, right?
Yeah, and don't come to us about sports. Don't come talking to us about, playoffs.
I like shopping.
I like shopping too.
Leave the guys and their March Madness. The thing is, ladies, no anointing can help you when it is March
Madness.
Madness.
Guys who like shopping, that means you know.
No, you just like clothes.
My girl don't even like to go shopping with me. That's how bad it is.
Oh wow.
That should be good though, because sometimes the wife has to make the guy's clothes for him. He should be ready to have his clothes in order.
Yeah.
But she likes
Look at that.
I can't believe what I'm hearing here.
We're communicating, Pastor.
it's mutual.
Pastor, did your wife like pick out your clothes for you, or do you do it yourself?
I pick my own clothes.
Yeah, okay.
Does she buy them for you?
Sometimes she. No, but the thing is, she knows my taste. You see, so sometimes she blesses me, and I take it, and I thank her. You know, I mean, it is mutual, like the brother said, right? It is mutual.
Right? You won't go to the store to buy your own clothes, though, right?
Me, I do, but it is mutual. Yeah, she pays for me, me too, I pay for her. Because there are some things that maybe I see and I think it will look good on her, and I want to see her in it. So I surprise her, and if she's not wearing it, I say, what about that dress? With emphasis. You see?
I have a question.
Yes.
Since we're talking about clothes, you know in the beginning how you said never lie. So let's see, for example, you got your wife. You know, she spent the whole entire day trying to find for a dress, and then finally she gets one, and then she comes to you and say, "Oh, honey, how do I look?" But she doesn't look good in that dress. You know. So in
He's making a point.
She spent the whole entire day.
Excuse me. Let him finish. He is making a point.
I know she spent the whole all day. You know, she wasn't home cooking, so she was out there, you know, looking for this dress. So she comes to me and say, "How do I look?" And she doesn't look good in that dress. So, you know, how would you tell her that no, you don't? Yes, you do. I mean, because you say don't lie. So, how would you?
No, ladies, you are out. No, I say you are out. Let me answer this question.
We can't put her in.
No.
And then you answer.
No, let me answer. It's a very good question. You see, because listen to the way the question was phrased. And I can see your mouth is pregnant there, Andy. But be free to state your viewpoint. Anyway, listen. You are released. Listen to me. You know, listen, please listen. I'm posing a question to you to answer your question, right? You say your wife went all day, which means that your wife certainly is a cute woman. Because if she's not cute, you wouldn't have married her, made her your missus. Are you understanding me? Good. So being a pretty woman, right, that you have married, right, and she goes out there, you say all day. Let me also analyze it. Because is it, you are saying that the dress doesn't look nice on her. Is it because she went all day and didn't cook?
No.
That is why you are saying that even with the thing is, I'm bringing the specifics from what you said. A hungry man is an angry man.
Exactly.
So if she's gone all day, there's no food in the house, right? I tell you, if she's come with a diamond dress, you will still be angry because you are still hungry.
That's true.
Is that yes? So maybe your anger can blind you.
No. It has nothing to do with that. It's just the fact that she
doesn't look.
Why did you say
it's just that she doesn't look good in the dress.
Okay then.
You know?
Okay.
I have a question.
So you can leave the cooking part
let
out.
me finish.
Yeah.
So you leave the cooking part out.
You live what?
You leave the cooking part out. She just went
That's a
shopping
very
for a dress all
important
day.
You see, this is 2 nights in a row that you're talking about cooking. Now you'll be telling his mother.
No, but if he's saying, disregarding her cooking,
And the all day.
yeah.
Okay.
So
All right, let me say it. But the thing is, wisdom. That's why I said she's a pretty lady. If she even put on rags, you still love her. You still have to love her through what she puts on. I think if you want her, this is an advice for you guys. If you want her, maybe what she wore, maybe the color is not nice to you, doesn't appeal to you. Maybe you want to see she dazzles in a certain color that you, maybe red is your color, so you want her to be in red. You see? Then compliment her. Wisdom. You don't go and say you look ugly. So never. So you find, and listen, every guy here, one thing you have to know is know your wife's size. Shoe, dress, everything. You better know it.
Yeah.
Right? Bra, everything you should know. Because a day and time will come, you'll travel somewhere. You'll be maybe in New York or something like that. Maybe, hey, you've got some money that you want to maybe surprise her, buy something nice, or you saw something out there, you go outside the country, maybe you're in a conference in France, you saw something, you want your baby in it, So you have to have the size. You don't call to check what is your, no. You see? And then you buy the color, just the color that you, and then you give it to her. As soon as you put it on, let's go on a dinner. And you just sit down there and look at her at the dinner. As you eat, it enhances your appetite. So, if you don't like what she bought, then you don't tell her. I mean, the truth, the lying thing that I said was lying to cover up something. Right? But not telling her, that using wisdom is not lying. You understand? Because words, there are some words that, and it is very good that he brought, because sometimes some people can be painfully blunt, and it is not good. You see, one thing that you have to understand is this. Women, by the way, and I don't talk, I come across as a pastor. Are you understanding me? But the way God made women, because God designed them to be carriers of children and human beings, women tend to be very, very sensitive. That's why women are quick to empathize and sympathize and those kind of things, to show, sentiments and things. Are you understanding me? Because of the way God designed them. That's why words that we say to them are very, very important. You better weigh your tongue before you talk or say anything bad or negative to the woman that you yourself have professed you are in love with. Under no circumstance at all should you use a bad word, a bad language, anything to put her down. Oh, the dress is ugly. Why do you have to put on? You don't. My wife and I think somebody asked a question. Every Sunday when maybe we come into church and things like that, I said, do you like this? She also bring, do you want it? That's what we do. You see, I don't pick for her, I let her pick. A couple of times I picked for her because I want her to, and she also has picked for me. Hey, it's mutual. Are you understanding me? So that is important. But if you don't like what she's got, then buy something and surprise her. But never go and tell her it's ugly. No. That is crossing the line. Yes?
What if it is ugly? Because sometimes we can go shopping and we're like, what was I thinking? When we get back. So I think it's okay to be honest. I mean, it depends with the kind of...
No, sometimes, you see...
I don't want somebody to tell me, but
You didn't ask the question. Now that someone asks a question, I'm going to answer.
I'm not asking a question, I'm just making a comment.
Okay.
My comment is sometimes I feel like you ask them, how do I look? And I'm like, you're fine, let's go. Because they're trying to rush or they're not even really paying attention to what you're wearing. So you can really walk out the house with two different shoes on and they're not going to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm asking you, I honestly want your opinion. If I don't like your opinion, then I'm just going to disregard it and wear what I want to wear anyways. But if I'm asking you, how do I look? Don't be like, oh, you look good. No, if I got panty lines, tell me I got panty. I'm just saying, I want your honest opinion, but I don't want you to be like, oh, you're ugly, you're this, but still...
Because the thing is, we're not
Have
saying...
you watched the advertisement? I think was it Geico that does this advertisement? Abraham Lincoln and his wife.
Yeah, it's Geico.
It's Geico, right?
When he, I think they were getting ready to leave.
Is it State Farm?
No, State
It's not State Farm.
It's Geico, right?
Yeah, Geico.
The wife was asking him
Yeah.
what the things about.
And then she got mad. She got mad.
You see, I think, let me say here, one thing is this, and traditionally, traditionally, most women have a tendency of taking their time. So if a guy, maybe you're going somewhere, you have an appointment, maybe you have a time, and he's taking all her time to dress up, and now she's coming to seek your opinion, right? I mean, the thing is, that's not the right time to ask the man, because maybe he's pressed for time. You're going to somewhere, you have to be there at a certain time, you see. So that's not the time he's going to check you out. So if there's anything, then be on time and then ask him. I mean, within a window of maybe 15 minutes, how do you like it? Then maybe he'll be able to tell you. But not that when you are already late, right? If you're supposed an hour late, that's why you're going to ask him, how do I look? He'll tell you, okay, let's go. You look good. You see, I think when it comes to that, the man will do that. But the thing is, if you maybe try to do things ahead of time, and maybe you come and ask him, he will give you an honest opinion. But sometimes some of the ladies too don't take, honest criticism nicely. You see, you think maybe he's putting you down. Sometimes it's like, a tight rope for most men. It's a tight rope. Am I, guys? It's a tight rope. You don't want to say anything. Well, you said I don't dress, I don't know how to dress. Sometimes.
For the most part, most of the guys know what kind of women that they got, so.
Yeah. So, and sometimes accept honest this thing. It's true. Sometimes if the makeup is too much, you have to, because the thing is, maybe when you stand together, if you are dancing, then the colors are all, maybe the shirt that he has bought, first time you put a shirt on, that will put so many things inside there, you dyed it for him. Become tie and dye shirt. Anyway, so never jump into conclusions, communicate and talk it over. It is true, sometimes both men and women can tend to be suppositional. Okay? Most men can be, and women can be suppositional. Especially maybe if you are coming from a previous, relationship that didn't end well and things like that. Maybe there were cases of betrayal of trust and things like that. The tendency of jumping to conclusion is always there. I saw this person, checking the man's phone and things like that. But please, we have to also understand that, as Christians, I've told you, everything must be characterized by what? Truthfulness and faithfulness. Period. You don't have to lie. You let your yes be yes and your no be no. Period. Right? Because you know where you are headed. You want to be a family and settle and be happy. Raise beautiful children, have goals and dreams and plan and maybe move, ahead in life, start your own business, plan, and things like that. So you don't need these little things to erode the confidence and the trust in the relationship, right? Sometimes let me say it here, some guys bring these things on themselves. You cannot be talking to one person and they'll be talking to another person, and we are friends. Please stop it. Just be serious. Did you miss what I was saying?
I did. I just don't know where I was
Okay.
at right now.
Okay,
I apologize.
this is what I'm saying. I said that you cannot, be talking to one person and then, the other people, and then when she finds out, say, oh, that is a friend. You see? And mostly, the word friendship these days is being used in so many ways. The other day, even I was in my barber shop and I was learning new things over there. Sometimes when you see somebody says, that's my uncle, it means a different thing. Uncle and nephew means different things these days. You see? So, the friends, and also the ladies too, be serious and let transparent honesty characterize the relationship. Period. Transparent honesty. Because at the end of the day, you want to have peace in that relationship. You know, and the peace that you want is what you have worked together, mutually engineered for yourself and for the relationship. But if there's what, you know, some shady, you know, certain things, slick ways and things like that, in the end, like they say, your lies will find you out. So don't jump into conclusions, communicate and talk it over. I think this talk it over thing I've talked to you about how last week we emphasized very more about it was civil forums. Hello, are you there?
Yeah.
Civil forums. Can you hear me, Moran? Civil forum. You are quiet, but do you know what a civil forum is? What is a civil forum?
Just a very calm and collective conversation.
Yeah, just between the two of you. Good. You must have checked us on YouTube. Anyway, so talk it over. Civil forum, it helps. So that you talk about your business and you don't bring anybody in. In the end, you have to mature. Learn this is, you know, marriage is for mature people. It's not for babes and infants. It's for mature people. And this is how maturity comes. When you learn to what? To adapt to each other's, you know, this thing, and then you're able to build things collectively together. It helps a great deal. In an atmosphere like that, I can tell you, you can start, you know, your own company and you become a Fortune 500 in days. Discuss what actually happened, don't judge. Number 6, discuss what actually happened and don't judge. I like this, and the reason why I like this is this. Anytime there is some conflict, the first thing that you start, you know, the devil comes in, then you start demonizing each other. Then you start demonizing, attacking one another. Oh, you are, oh, no. Separate events from the person. What did I say? Separate events from the person. You see, a person as good as he or she is still prone to make mistakes. And sometimes a person, maybe someone is trying in a good faith way to do good, and you will end up making a mistake. And if you are not careful, you are someone who jump into conclusion, you see, hey, I told you, you know, he's doing this. And maybe he was doing something in honesty to please you. Always try to what? To separate events from the person. Don't judge, but what do you have to discuss what actually happened. Sometimes too, somebody can simply be jealous of your beautiful life, or may even try to come in there to set you up or to set a man up. Yeah, I've seen friends sometimes who are so jealous of what and then want to come in there. I said, hey, you're talking to my friend? I saw him, my friend. Discuss what actually happened. You know, because there are some people, it is never in their nature to do certain things, to betray trust, to hurt. And you know their track record. You know their track record. If that person is a habitual liar, maybe has been doing it, you know, consistently, then you know that is, you know, his behavior. But maybe something happened, then you say this is out of character. Find out what really happened. Don't go attacking him, and there you are. No, you are always like this. No. This is so necessary, especially when we're in a married relationship. Because when we are married, you are your husband's best support. You are your wife's best support. So if you go on like this, throwing him, it's like they say, throwing him under the bus or something like that. You see something, out of this place, get out of this place. Some people are quick to throw the man out of the house. Get out of my house, screaming, yeah. In the middle of the night, you kick him out of the house. Yeah, let me come in, and he's gone. You have to be very careful. I was dealing with a case like that in Los Angeles, and usually I bring these scenarios to let you know that everything here is not all academic, right? There's this couple who had a problem some time ago. They were married, they had a son, that they were high school sweethearts, And what happened was, later on, the lady caught the guy cheating. And confronted him. He admitted, pleaded, but the woman said no. So later on, the guy came and told me, Pastor, I betrayed my wife. I've sinned. I love her. I want her back. So I called him and I talked to him. If the person is contrite and has humbled himself, let's get on with it. So I talked to the lady. He said, Pastor, okay, if I'll talk to her. But really, later on, this is what I diagnosed, right? Because the guy works in an environment whereby it is like pressure came upon him and he couldn't handle the pressure. So he fell for it. Very nice, handsome man. Everybody's calling, oh, Mr. A, Mr. Ed, Mr. Ed. And, he fell for it. But I realized that he really, really loved his wife and wants his family. So we talked about it. They started, back together. They didn't take long. They bought a house. The woman became pregnant again. They had another son, and they were living together. The guy was still doing his work, But this time, he has learned his lesson, so he was, doing extra. But then the lady also got a second job. I think in Hollywood, so then she also started getting attention. And she also fell into bad company. So this time it was her who started the whole thing. I don't know what her friends told her. But she says, you can. So the end result was that he wanted to leave her husband and hook up with a basketball player. And it didn't work out. So she called me, but I realized that when the guy came and told his story was totally different from what the lady said, And the relevance from what I'm telling you here is this. I can stand here and talk and give you all these things. You have to be very careful about some of the environment that you put yourself in. As a counselor and someone who has blessed marriages and things like that, usually most marriages fall apart not because of the man, not because of the woman, but the influences that comes from outside. The influences. There's a lady that I know. She was married. She was she was a cheerleader for a football team, and got married, and they had a son, they had a beautiful house, and they were happy. But all her closest friends were still these cheerleading people, and they were not married. So those were the people, the husband kept telling her, I'm not saying, but why can't you seek out married women? Married, responsible women, and be friendly. These people are not comfortable. Oh, but they have been friends. We have been friends. They are not telling me anything. Every now and then, the temptation. Let's go here. Let's go there. Let's go there. She wasn't living as a husband, because if you are married, you are family. And these are some of the things that I want to talk to you, because the thing is, when we talk of marriage, we're talking about a traditional marriage. Are you understanding me? Traditional marriage, where husband and wife does things together. Not these days like most married women and some guys live like high school people. If you are married, and then some married women, some that I know, will leave their husband and go with their friends that are not married on the weekend to Vegas to go and gamble and that sort of thing. It is not healthy. And some guys, leave their wife and children and go out weekend and hanging out. One guy that I've been dealing with, he still wants to party with his guys who are not married. You keep yourself in an environment like that. You are setting yourself up for your marriage, being ruined. Because the outside influences will destroy that. To destroy that. Your husband, your wife becomes your best friend. You make decisions together. You look for people who are also equally married, responsibly Christian couples who's married, they also, and then you'll be friended. So if there's anything at all, you are accountable to each other. The woman has someone that she's accountable to, the man has someone that he's accountable to. So if there's anything at all, man, hey, my wife and I will have in there, so what do you advise? Maybe he'll bring his married wife in, well, baby, this is what we do, and then the wife, maybe you talk to your wife. You see, maybe there is some women issues that maybe as a man you are not understanding, you'll be able to open up to another woman. And then you'll be able to fix it. And then, hey, you're a happy couple again. So you have to place. That's why I said maturity is very, very important. Most of the marriages that do, end up in divorce and this lack of maturity on both sides. People are married, but they refuse to grow.
What are the 5 things for a man and female that are husband and wife that are married that makes them to divorce? What are 5 things that are usually the thing?
Well, I've said that there are 3 major things that can make or break marriage, right? Communication, sex, and money. But there are other things too that are there. If you say other things, like maybe lying, abuse, and cheating. I can go on like simple lack of appreciation. When the man feels that the woman does not respect him, respect his authority, and you have to also understand, there has to be authority in the house. Otherwise, how are you going to raise your children? There are so many people who still resent the fact that, the man is the authority in the house. The man is authority because God said he is. The man is the head of the woman. And the man is accountable accountable for being the head of the woman. And Christ is the head of the man. And God is the head of Christ. That is what is called, thank you for the question, the eternal triangle. Every marriage, has that eternal triangle. It's like you are in this and it never breaks. The man and the woman are here. Horizontal, lateral relationship from the side of the man God to the woman. Are you understanding me? So side by side, all the time till death do you part. Beside that, you are accountable to God. Whatever the man does, whatever the woman does, God is there on top of it. The triune God. So when you keep your marriage like that, you treat the woman, the man gives what is expected to his wife and the wife vice versa, and then you are building, it is not putting a sign in front, oh, God is in this house and angels, that makes you a Christian. It is how you live and practice your theology that makes you a Christian. The word shouldn't be a sign in front of your house. It should be something that is modeled by your character and your conduct. So that people say, hey, these people are true Christians. You see? So these are the things that cannot easily destroy a relationship. Because sometimes if the woman does not even consistently talk down the man, it can even affect the man's sexual performance. Any man who gets talked down all the time, oh, you are this, it can even affect him sexually, yes. Because you are not what? Edifying. Oh yes, you don't know. You see, words that settles. Let me tell you here. Let me clarify it. And I'm using this analogy, maybe, I'm using this analogy not because of, Bible says the children of darkness are more shrewd than the children of light. The children of darkness are more shrewd than the children of light. Right? I know some of you, but you see any woman who walks the street, a hooker. You see any man, the way they talk to them, hey daddy, hey darling. You see, he's getting into your head to let you feel you are important. Are you understanding me? Maybe the man, your husband, has gone through all his day tired. His boss, he's got a difficult boss who is always demanding and putting his come home tired. He needs a kind word from his wife. Sweetheart, darling, how was your day, babe? Maybe he's not even in a mood to talk. But you are showing such care, such concern, letting him know that yes, you appreciate him, you love him, whatever is going on. At that time, you have to say something to lift him. And now he's not taking outside and also taking it in the house. You affect his sexuality. Yes. Because for a man to want to, be intimate with his wife, it starts from the head. But if you're all the time throwing those things, it's like you can shut him down. So be very careful the things that you say. You hear me? Shakespeare said they are daggers in men's smiles. You can use your dagger in your mouth to kill your man. And you are responsible. Yes, Andy?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't like the whole finance thing.
I can't hear you.
I don't
Loud.
like the whole finance thing.
I can't hear you.
I don't like the finance
The finance?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I think it's unfair.
Thank you for that. It's good. What I said wasn't like it's a legitimate or valid reason to divorce, but I was saying that those are some of the things that comes to bring divorce. Whereby and usually it's true. What he's saying is very true. But I've seen some people who sometimes one woman that I've seen, the husband doesn't work and hasn't worked for years. Not that the guy doesn't want to work. He's been trying, but he's not getting it.
For years?
For years. You see, you listen. Let me answer. Let me answer, and then you have your turn. Let me answer, and then I'll give you your time. Right? You see. You have to understand that, when you are in marriage, when you take the marriage vows, among the things that you say is for better or for what? For worse? For richer or for? Oh.
Nowadays,
We're not going to be poor. We're going to be richer and richer.
These days we say richer and richer, but the thing is, in reality it's what? Richer or poorer. Let me ask you ladies here, how many of you will want to, God forbid, right? God forbid, but just for, how many of you want to live in the latter arrangement? You've learned, there are riches and then suddenly, boom.
Well, nobody wants to be in love and broke. I mean, honestly.
Okay, but you see,
Exactly.
circumstances beyond your control. Are you understanding me? We are Christians, we don't confess poverty. Because Christ became poor so that we will be rich. Are you understanding me? But circumstances do happen that sometimes even you can't even afford a cell phone because the budget cannot support it. You have to cut through cable TV. The budget cannot support it. Maybe you have to come down with one car. The budget. Maybe you have to let your house go so that you can go and live in a studio apartment because the budget. You see? And all these things comes with what? You being determined to make what? The sacrifice. The adjustment so that you'll be able to work. And not giving the man a lecture. If you have done this, but just pick the pieces from somewhere and to move on. It will come. I've said this over and over and over that you have to understand. Because of unforeseen circumstances, with what is going on these days, some of you may end up in a marriage whereby, unfortunately, whether it is not your choosing, maybe your husband will be home and you may be the breadwinner, and the husband will be staying home with the children. Or it can be that maybe you are home, you lost your job, and he's the one, Either way, it does not still have to erode the trust and the respect and the dignity that you should want. The man still must be respected and loved. Yes, T.
Actually, they can go first. I'll go.
Okay, I agree with what you say, completely, because I know a lot of people like that. I think what I've kind of read more on is why marriages have a financial split is because either one or the other in the marriage digs them in a hole financially, not because one or the other doesn't work. I think it more emphasizes on, she ran their credit cards up 30,000. This guy can't take it anymore. He just wants to kill himself, so he bounces. Vice versa. That's how I feel. But I agree with what you say. That's just common. It's terrible,
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Keyword being budget. I think that, and we've talked about this before in not the food court, the cafeteria. But why can't we have a his, hers, and ours account? If one's a spender and one's a saver, okay, you can, as long as the bills are paid, you can blow your little whatever left. But if you go broke, don't come and expect me to pay your $30,000 bill. Like you're not gonna ruin my FICO score because you wanted to buy a Ferrari. Like, why you get a 2-seater when we got 4 kids?
Stop.
I'm sorry.
My homie did
But I'm like, I feel like budget, like he said, I don't think it's because they're both splurging. It may be because one person doesn't want to realize where they are financially. They want to live above their means. They want to be balling and shot calling when they know, it's like a champagne taste on a beer budget. And I think that might be the reason, because if you spending all my money, you spend your money, and then on top of that, you spend my money that me and your children gotta suffer because of your Ferrari, I would leave too. I'm sorry, because I can't continue to make up for all your overspending. So it's like, isn't it okay to have a his, hers, and ours account, especially if that person is overspending?
Usually, thank you very, very much. And I like what you are bringing in. It's very, very important. You see, I think I was answering Andy's question based on the way I got it. But you have broadened the subject, where one is a spendthrift, can go on one can go on a spending spree and is used to, doesn't have any sense of saving and things like that, wants to look good and things like that. I mean, ideally you cut your coat according to your size, right? You do everything, also factoring that you have a family, you have a house, you have got other things. Some people are not that financially disciplined, and sometimes it's very, very hard. That's why when maybe from the word go, when we are going through counseling, you have to know. The question that your contribution as to his, hers, and ours, this thing, that is something that is better left for the family to decide, you see. But even that, I can tell you, sometimes it doesn't help, because it breeds mistrust in the home, where the woman has a separate account, the man has usually I hear it all the time. She's keeping in her account, she's hiding her money from me, I don't know how much she makes, and it can create a lot of this thing in the house. I think all you have to do is that maybe both of you have to decide. For me, I cannot tell you what to do, but both of you have to plan. Okay, maybe we are putting our money together. Maybe you have 3 different accounts, right? This one is for this one is for that, this one is where maybe you have maybe kind of on our operating account, like, groceries and utilities will come from this account. So I know how much you make, also how much I make. We put all the money into this account, maybe we separate them, we put such a percentage in this and this and that. It helps. And then you are both of you all the time checking and making sure, that, the money is there, nobody is messing around with the money. If there's anything at all, the man wants to buy a shirt or something like that, you are aware, maybe, hey, I saw this shirt, and I needed it. And you approve, you also give him you give yourselves little wiggle room. It all comes from the operating account that you have. There are certain areas that we don't touch. But if it is his, hers, and things like that, sometimes it has its own challenges, because the tendency will come that whereby you want to, especially women sometimes can be very good in saving their money, and when the man is hard pressed for money and you say, I don't have, one day you may see the statement. Because you live in the same house, right? He may see the statement and he say, oh, so my wife has this and we couldn't pay electric bill and she was insisting, and it creates all sorts of mistrust and certain things that you don't need, you see. So it is very, very important that both of you will sit down and talk about how you're going to handle your finances, because money can be a very, very dangerous, a good agent, for building a family, but it can also be a very dangerous agent in tearing the family apart.
I have a comment for that. I think when you get married, you should become one in all areas, even your finances.
Absolutely.
You're living like a single person with that, and your mindset is still in single mode.
Yeah, but if they're a spender.
It doesn't matter. You have to learn how to adjust and how to.
That is why both of you have to, work it out. Because if you keep your money apart and that for me, I'm not recommending that. And I think it is better that when you are together, you are together. You put everything together, but you also make certain rules to regulate how the money is spent. Let's hear from.
No, I was just saying. My thing is, if I'm the provider, I would provide everything pretty much, and if my wife is working, we can just use the money and just put it in the savings, and because we never know, we might have kids that will go to college somehow, and just use that money for the savings, and they might need a car whatsoever. So I think it's all about agreement. You guys agreed that, okay, you'll be providing everything for the house, and whatever the wife brings in, it can just go to the savings and little things that we might need. So it's all about agreement, pretty much.
Well, yes, certainly. That's what I said. You have different accounts, and then you decide, hey, I know how much you make, how much you make. You have your budget. You see, we spend so much on maybe rent or mortgage. We spend so much on utilities. We spend so much on groceries, We spend so much on gas, and things like that. You see, so you keep yourself on a budget like that, and then you know what to do, and then at least, like you said, it's also a good plan. What the woman makes will go into maybe the children's college fund or something like that. Then you are happy together. And Andy, please.
What are your feelings on prenuptial agreement? No, it's not on topic.
Thank you very much. Listen, you have to understand that not all the prenuptial agreements are about money. You have to know that.
Yeah.
Well, on the topic of money.
Finance.
Okay.
As long as I get a good cut.
Well,
I don't think it's a bad thing.
how many of you have heard about this basketball player, Dikembe Mutombo?
Right?
Dikembe, he no longer plays. But I think when he was in Atlanta, no, was it? Yeah, in
He
Atlanta.
played for 76ers. He played before for 76ers.
But he was getting married in Atlanta. I think he played for the Hawks.
Big.
He played for the Hawks, right? Yeah.
He still plays?
No. He's,
Oh, I was like, damn.
He retired.
his legs are tired now.
Not me.
The thing is, he was going to get married. And I don't know how he did his thing. I mean, everybody was in the church. It was at the church that he wanted the lady to sign the thing. And the lady refused. And the invited guests, everybody was sitting in the church, and he said no. Kobe's wife didn't sign. Kobe, they didn't do it.
So did they get married?
Who?
Matumbo or?
No, they didn't.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, because of that. Because the Kembe wanted to, I think because of Olajuwon's thing, so he wanted to. Akeem Olajuwon. So he wanted the woman to sign. But my take on prenup, except that you don't trust the woman. But that is it. Except that, to be honest, the thing is, I cannot, if you really, really, really are in love.
Would you marry someone you don't trust, though?
Eh?
Like, why would you even consider marrying someone you don't trust, though?
Absolutely. Because the thing is, some of the prenup, you see, beside money and those kind, and let me also tell you that, it is not that, listen, when you get, before you are, okay, this is it, because the classical case, one that went to court, right? Well, that actually they, and these days they are even breaking it down. The prenuptial agreement thing is coming, being broken down. Barry Bonds case that went to court, And many people who are in it were kind of following it, most of the Hollywood people, because if Barry Bonds has lost the case, it would have been a landmark. This thing. I mean, most women would be going to, but he won. But the thing is, they were able also to chip something away. Because when this woman and Barry Bonds were married, Barry Bonds was being paid not even in millions, in thousands. And I think they had 2 children and then they divorced. And as soon as they divorced, Barry Bonds started getting contracts in 10,000, 10 million, sorry. 10 million and things like that. So the woman came back wanting to get more money. But the thing is,
Really?
they were divorced at that time. I'll come. So, you see, so he did it, but at that time, one thing that you see, and the whole thing is this: you have to really, really trust each other. What has necessitated it is all because people have become so materialistic and they put a lot of premium on their money and not on their life, the children even. Because the thing is, when the house fall apart, my heart usually goes out because usually children from divorce homes, they never recover to the 100%. If money is in the house, the man will take the woman will take it, and the man will, then the children are caught in the middle. You see, being a provider, being a good provider does not compensate for being a good parent. You have to understand. The children can come from well-to-do homes and things like that, millions of dollars. Hey, they have this, everything that they have, they want, they get. But that is not parenting. Providing is not parenting. You see, so because of, unfortunately, some of the things that are going on, that's what makes people, take care of their business. You see, and then they ensure that, make sure that. But assuming, this is how the thing works. Assuming you are going into the marriage, right? You have your house, you have 100,000 in the bank. So you do the prenup, right? Okay. But if you sign the prenup and the woman gets into the marriage, anything subsequent to the 100,000 is community. You know that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anything is, you had a house, right? Assuming you had a house in Compton before you got married, and you had 100,000 in the bank. But as soon as the marriage ended, you got a deal that gave you about $1 billion, and you bought a house in Malibu. It's community. Look at like this guy, Paul McCartney. The woman came in and then he said, "Oh, I wanted so much." Did they give it to the money? No. I think they gave her 40 million.
Michael Jordan got too.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan? You remember?
You say what?
His wife, man, she got him.
Oh, but Michael Jordan still have to understand there was no prenup.
She still got money.
No. There was no prenup. They even married, they got married in Vegas. The woman is smart. Michael Jordan, so I think she has a master's in business administration.
Well, didn't he give her money or something?
No, but the thing is, I think she took the house,
a grip of money,
the big house that they have, and she had a lot of money. But the thing is, they married very young. They met at a restaurant. I mean, the woman was the manager. She has a master's in money. Michael Jordan went to eat there, and the woman saw it. Then they started talking, and they got involved. Before Michael Jordan's parents can hear anything, they have come to Vegas to marry. So they were not happy about the whole thing, And then I think the woman told him she's pregnant. So they came to Vegas, got married. There was no prenup. You see? So All that MJ was, you can tell that at that time he is exposed. That is the word they use, exposed. You know, and I'm not putting fear in all. And Jay, don't be afraid because nobody will want your millions, right?
You ain't even gonna see Jay's account.
You see?
Yeah,
But the woman got a house and everything. You know, but the thing is, hey, but even outside, Michael Jordan, you know, he's making more money than he's playing days. You know that? You know, he's making more money than he's playing days. So all that is coming in is now his. You know, so he's recouped. Yes, Mora?
I was gonna ask, what if the woman got a prenup to protect herself and the kids?
You said?
What if the woman asks the man to sign a prenup for herself and the kids?
Yeah, I think some women do. I think Elizabeth Taylor's children, you know, when Elizabeth Taylor married that guy, what's his name? Her last husband.
She had a gang of prenups.
No, that was I think husband number 9. The guy that she met at he met at the rehab place. His name is some Polish name, Kosnowski or something like that. Her kids, you know, make sure the guy signs something so that, you know, he doesn't come to take anything away from him. Yeah, most of the people, I don't know the arrangement, but I think with Beyonce and Jay-Z, they have something like that. Not that written, but everybody keeps, you know, his business separate.
What they had before they came into the
Yes, everybody
I think
does.
that's a good thing though. 'Cause
Yeah.
Some families they'll have like your inheritance and stuff like that, and you don't want that getting mixed up if you do get divorced.
Then they don't have one.
Inheritance and stuff like that.
Well, like you are inheriting from a family. Anyway, if those things is true, thank you. I think there was something, you know, like this guy, Nick Lachey and Jessica Simpson.
Oh yeah.
You see?
He got her.
Huh?
He got her.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't his fault. It was the girl's father's fault. The father was too much involved in the marriage. I think the guy meant he really, really loves her. It's true, but the father was too much. The father was too much involved in the marriage, you know, and it in a way, it even looks suspicious. You see, the father is the one who drove the guy away from the marriage.
Because when they first got married, before they got married, he was making more. Then when they got married, she was making more.
Yes, sure.
And because she never got a prenup because he was making more at the time, so when they divorced, he got half of everything.
Yeah, so, well, women too can do it. You know, are you planning doing?
Well, I mean, like, right now I'm in school and I'm a double major in accounting and finance. So whatever job I get, I'm gonna make a lot of money.
But you know what your husband is bringing? Yeah, assuming you are marrying.
Yeah, but I just want to look out for like my future children to make sure that they're okay. Just because I mean, you really don't know anybody completely. Even when you do get married, you don't know, like any secrets that they may be hiding from you. Like you don't know them completely.
Well, that's why you don't. Good question. That's why you don't have to rush. Get to know the person. You know, being a career-minded woman like you, get your opposite type. Well, I know it's hard, to find these days, but the thing is, you have to, take your time and pray. Don't rush. I've seen sometimes some people become desperate and then they kind of subordinate themselves to certain things. The other day I was reading something. There's a lady who went to Colombia and has a law degree, and married a brother. No, I'm not putting anybody down. Circumstances do differ, and love is strange, right? But the person that was totally, it was a kind of a lopsided way of this thing, and the man wasn't treating him well, her well, insecurity issues and things like that. So, be praying and be, but I don't think you have to walk around with your papers in your purse. Anyway, as soon as the man goes on his knees, then you present the paper, you sign it before I take your ring. Yes.
But I think this discussion got a little overboard with all that, but I just think like if you're doing what you need to do and making God first in your life before you even get in that relationship, that He's not even going to allow somebody that's going to terrorize your future get in your path. That's what I think.
Yeah, that solves it. I mean, the thing is, it's more people who are secular minded who think about these things. But it is also very, because we are in the world, but we are not of the world, you see. And sometimes some people can come in, they are Christians, but later on backslide and start behaving in a way that is not appropriate, that even the concerns of the children doesn't matter and things like that. You see, so you have to factor in all that, right? But in the end, I think you have to, do things like Christians. Because the thing is, hey, God will not, since you are living right and honoring God with your marriage, God will not let you and your children starve. He'll take care of you, right? The Bible says, do not worry about what you eat or drink or wear. Matthew 6:25. For your heavenly Father knows that you have need of all these things, and He will provide for you. Elizabeth Taylor got so many jewelry, she's died, and then she died, and what other things? Mary Monroe never had children. Now people are auctioning her things, left and right. You don't even know who, So that is it.
Okay, on the topic of, finances and people getting divorced for that reason, I think also that nowadays women being the provider in their household is like, it's a wrong position to put a female in because no female wants to feel like they're the provider. They're pretty much not the head, but they're...
Well, imagine how the guy feels about that.
Yeah.
But are you honestly want to stay home and change 2-year-old diapers and feed them and cook and
No, I'm saying imagine how the guy feels.
not helping, that's your...
I think that...
No, I'm saying imagine how the guy feels. He probably feels really low.
But dudes would rather go to work and deal with the stress at work for 8 hours a day.
Andy, what did you say? No.
I'm just saying, be realistic. Women, we are, children's church. I don't see no man running children's church just because it is a very stressful job to deal with kids.
I think it's like, I thought about that before too, about children's church, and I just think it would be weird for a guy to be helping in their period.
Why?